What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Jesse Keller, the collecting nerd, and today coming at you with the pilot of Real Talk with Jesse Keller. Now, first of all, I always gotta have some coffee while I'm doing this shit. And second, this series is a successor to the whole My Two Cents thing. I decided instead of just having a video series about me ranting and raving, it's gonna be a mixture of tiny bit of ranting, some jokes here and there, but for the main premise, it's just gonna start a discussion, and it's mainly stuff that's on my mind. Now, normally I would have a script, but today I'm gonna be unfiltered in this sense because this is kind of an issue that's been on my mind for about a while now. Well, I guess you'd say at least August, September-ish of last year. So, this is directed at a certain individual. I'm not going to state any names, but if you've been watching this channel for a while now, you know who I'm talking about. And if you are watching this, you'll pretty much know who you are. Now, the reason why I'm bringing you up in this sort of discussion deal is because I've noticed that since August, since what happened, and you know what I'm talking about, you sort of lost your way. You sort of, I wouldn't say lost that gaming edge, but you pretty much lost that fire in general. And I'm not going to go on a whole ego trip and try and put an angle on this or try and be super competitive and pretty much play the asshole heel part like I was last year. But this is sort of a man-to-man thing, and I've tried talking to you about this personally man-to-man, but that hasn't worked, so I figured if I do this, put it on YouTube, it might at least help you get some sort of grasp on it, because I know this way you'd at least pay a little bit of attention, if not too much. Now, ever since that particular month last year, when shit happened, and you pretty much lost your way, at least in my opinion, you lost your way. I'm not going to state it as fact, but I noticed that not just as a gamer you've changed, but a little bit as a person you've changed. It kind of fractured our brotherhood because we were both on the wrong about it. I admit that I was an asshole about the entire thing, but at the same time, you could have handled it better yourself. Now, back when we first rekindled our friendship long ago, back when you and I used to be neighbors again, and we met at the card shop on that faithful year, and what was it, fucking 2015? 2015. And we rekindled our friendship and started hanging out a bunch. We were sort of like equals. Not just like as like gamers, but as friends, and what eventually became brothers. Now, we sort of had like this little rivalry where we tried to one up each other, and we'd try to we would boost each other through that competitive spirit, because that's just what, as men, we do. And since what happened, I personally think you've lost your way. You used to be this really cool, super fun guy to hang out with. And we would just fucking rattle ideas off of each other, just fucking back and forth, whether it be gaming or wrestling or music. And yeah, we'd have our differences, but we'd use our differences to not only get to know each other, get to know ourselves better, but it also brought a civil discussion. But I feel like I wouldn't say what happened like humbled you as far as gaming, but I personally think that it did. I'm not going to use this term lightly, break you in a sense. And no, this isn't a knock, but I personally think that with that, along with something else, a pretty big issue, if you ask me, that it did affect who you are. Now, we used to be the kind of people who would fucking go to battle for each other, so to speak. But since, shit happened and our friendship fractured, that sort of lost its way. I think you as a person lost your way. And I'm not going to get into details, but you, for the most part, know the reasons why. And part of it is because, you haven't been keeping your word lately. And at first, it wasn't too big of an issue. Yeah, it led to us butting heads a few times. But now I think you're letting something else get in the way of friendship. And that usually happens when those things are on the line. And I don't know how to put this politely, but I do want to put this politely because I still have some semblance of respect for you. And I'm not just going to completely bury your ass like I did during last year, because last year was just an angle. It was just to try and get a fire under your ass. But I'm still trying to get a fire under your ass as a gamer and as a person, but not in the way I used to do, because that way only worked temporarily. But you keep talking about how you want to change. You keep talking about how you say you're going to do stuff, but then you're not. Just do it, man. The only person that's stopping you is yourself. And you were talking to me last time you came over here about how you were trying to start doing the things you set your mind to, but in that same day, you tried bailing out on staying the night. All because that thing that got in the all because that thing was lonely. Now, it pretty much clicked in my head. Now, I don't know if it might be the actual situation, but this is just my personal take. I think you have been the kind of person who puts pussy before brotherhood, if you ask me. And have you ever seen me do that before? Like, honest on God, have you ever seen me put pussy before our own brotherhood before? I don't even think you can name one example, but I can sure as hell name a few. And I can also name a few instances where I went, I'm not going to go there. I don't want to rehash old shit. But I want you to get that fire under your ass again. This ain't a challenge. This ain't, just me trying to motivate. Well, in a sense, it's me trying to motivate you, but start getting your ass in gear again and start being the brother that I used to know, instead of the kind of person who lets pussy and his thinking just constantly get in the way. Now, when you're ready to get your ass in gear and put the pussy and the thinking and the bullshit and the procrastination and the not keeping your word aside, then we can rebuild that bridge towards brotherhood. And I'll do my part as long as you do your part too. And how do I put this? As far as you keeping your word, I don't even want you to say you're gonna do shit. Just do it. When you actually do something instead of saying you are, but then you're not, that's what's gonna impress not just myself, but it's gonna impress a lot more people. And it's also gonna create respect. If there's one thing you've always wanted, if there's one thing you've brought up like almost on a constant basis, it's how it's respect. And it's pretty much at the part where I'm not saying this to be an asshole, but no one fucking respects you right now because just you haven't been able to keep your word lately. You haven't been able to keep your word, and you haven't been really much of a good friend slash brother because pussy's your priority. And once again, I am sorry if this offends you, but I think that it needs to be said because you wouldn't listen to me when we talk in person. You wouldn't listen to me when I'm not saying as listen to what I say and yada yada yada. I meant listening as to try and digest like what's on my mind and why I am saying what I'm saying. But I personally think, and yeah, I'm gonna reiterate this again, that pussy is getting in the way of who you are, or well, nowadays it's were as a man, as a gamer, and as a brother. So when you are ready for that conversation, let me know. But I figured this is the only way this would actually get you to fucking digest a little bit. That's just how it's brought up. So I'm sorry if this does offend you, but I'm not sorry for posting this because honestly, you need to know this shit. And for all you subscribers out there, I'll be doing more episodes of these, and I'll also be doing a model kit update next week because I've got some plans going on it, but nothing's really concrete right now. I'm just working on a buckload of spare parts. So, I'm out this bitch.